Happy New Year, everybody. Captain Rick Wright, host of This is NNOA, our weekly look at news, views, and historical perspectives around the world with all of our incredible brothers of the United States Navy, United States Marine Corps, and the United States Coast Guard. And ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, hey, we made it to 2021. Yeah, today is the 2nd of January, 2021. I got to get used to that. And we are broadcasting from upstate New York, Syracuse, New York, in the suburbs of Syracuse, a place called Marcellus, New York. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get down with the program here. Today, the Montfort Pointers, the first African-American Marines, are smiling in heaven this afternoon because, hey, Captain Wright, where are the Marines, man? Okay, Montfort Pointers, Semper Fi. We're going to bring it on, uptight and dynamite here this afternoon. I don't want to blow the place up with dynamite, but I'm thinking about the Marines, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. Today, since this is a holiday weekend, let's find a holiday. I mean, a real holiday. MAJ Cory Holiday, United States Marine Corps. He's based at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. He's got all the answers with regards to the leadership of the United States Marine Corps, and he's our guest today. Hey, MAJ Holiday, Cory, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure, man. We're going to have some fun here this afternoon. MAJ Cory Holiday, a graduate of Florida A&M University down in Florida, man. So all you rattlers out there, we ready for that. And by the way, all you brothers of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, that fraternity that was discovered in the basement of St. James AME Zion Church in Ithaca, New York. That's what really was founded, Cory. You guys, I'm an Omega. I learned that one, you know, about you guys, man. But anyhow, we're rolling. Cory, MAJ, give us a little quick background on you, man. Where were you born, man, and where did you grow up and all that good stuff?
So I was born in Maplewood, New Jersey, and I moved down to Florida when I was about 5 years old. So I claimed Tallahassee, Florida as my home. So when I say I'm going home, I'm going to Florida. So I'm a Florida boy, true and true.
Tallahassee. Hey, Bethune-Cookman was hanging around that part of the country too, isn't it?
Yeah, my mother is a graduate of Bethune-Cookman.
Oh, so you come out of a family of educators, huh?
I do. My family, a lot of family members are split between Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M. I've got a few Tennessee State alumni as well as Southern alumni too. We're big time HBCU family.
Oh man, what an incredible environment that you grew up in, man. Educators. You said your father was a principal too, right?
So my father was a principal as I was growing up, and my mother was a math teacher for 30 years, and then both my mother and father moved on up to the Florida Department of Education with positions there and finished their careers out at DOE.
So MAJ Cory Holiday, United States Marine Corps, Florida guy. Of course, you grew up in, you first tasted that New Jersey water, huh? That New Jersey.
Yes, I did.
Oh, God. In fact, I used to run a radio station in Trenton, New Jersey years ago. I was general manager of radio station WTNJ in Trenton, the capital of New Jersey. Trenton makes, the world takes. And hey, MAJ, it really took me, man, but I'm still alive. From that standpoint. MAJ, now you finished high school, Florida. How did you pick out Florida A&M though, and all those HBCU family members are in the house?
So I grew up hearing stories of my mom and my uncles and cousins going back and forth with these different rivalries, and I grew up going to the Florida Classic with Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M playing each other, and just the internal banter between the family on different stuff. And then a different world. I grew up watching A Different World on TV, and I just knew I wanted to go to an HBCU. And being from Tallahassee and seeing FAMU on a regular basis, I knew I was going to FAMU.
Oh, and the marching band, that battle of the bands between those big football games. So, MAJ Cory Holiday, Happy New Year to you. What did you major in at Florida A&M University?
I was a criminal justice major. I started off with computer science and realized that computer science was not for me. I thought it was boring, so I liked the idea of what they call protected and serving. So I pursued criminal justice, and I've been doing it ever since.
So criminal justice has laid an incredible foundation. What we're going to find out about you this afternoon in the United States Marine Corps. Now, Major Cory Holiday, you got major in front of your name, a United States Marine Corps Semper Fi on the other end. You're coming out of Florida A&M University. Let me put it on the table real quick. Where and how did the United States Marine Corps become a part of your fantastic life?
Okay, so, well, my father passed away when I was 15, my sophomore year of high school. And during that time, everybody knows that that's a key point in a young man's life where they need role models, etc., male role models. And at the time, my high school started a Marine Corps JROTC program that year. And so my father passed in July. And by August, the school had started a Marine Corps JROTC program, and I was introduced to Colonel Milford Johnson and Major Charles Plowman, and they paved my way to want to be a Marine. I don't have a lot of Marines in my family. I didn't find out I had Marines in my family until after I had joined the Marine Corps. My family's big time Army, Air Force, Navy family. And then here I am, one of maybe 4 Marines in my whole family now. But definitely Colonel Johnson and Major Plowman were the ones that made me want to be a Marine.
Look, Major, were you part of the Navy NROTC unit at Florida A&M?
So, interesting story. I was. I graduated high school, and based off of all the stories that I learned from the instructors in high school, I wanted to follow their path. So Colonel Johnson had just retired and then picked up the JRTC program, but his last assignment in the Marine Corps was as an MOI at FAMU. So I heard tons of stories about the ROTC program. And then Major Plowman, prior enlisted guy, telling me all his war stories of being enlisted and then becoming an officer. So I wanted to experience those stories. So I enlisted right after high school, joined the Marine. So I joined the Marine Corps Reserves, and the recruiters, I was a recruiter's dream. I walked into the recruiter's office, and because I was in the program and because they were my mentors, I walked in with the blueprint of exactly what I wanted to do in the Marine Corps and how I wanted to do it. So I went and signed a contract that allowed me to go to boot camp. And then they had this program called 92-Day Reservist, where you go to boot camp, and right after boot camp, I left boot camp and I didn't go to the follow-on schools. I went straight to college. So I graduated boot camp on Friday, and I started college classes on Monday.
So the Marine Corps has got you, and you're at Florida A&M University. Also brought up the Florida A&M University NROTC unit because a very dear friend, Captain Gilchrist, was the CO of that unit back in the 1980s. In fact, he was also a president of the National Naval Officers Association. And he has a grandson, by the way, named Jay Gilchrist. Jay is a lieutenant flying P-8 Poseidons in the Navy right out on the West Coast. So every time I think of the Florida A&M unit, I think of Captain Gilchrist when he was the commanding officer of the unit there at Florida A&M. A little before he got there.
My freshman and sophomore year was spent in the ROTC program.
Now,
I was the only reason I got out of the program is because they were offering me a Navy scholarship, and being a Spitfire Marine at the time, I refused to take my Marine uniform off and wear the Navy uniform, waiting on the Marine option to get the Marine scholarship so I could continue wearing the Marine uniform. So I chose a different route so I can keep wearing my Marine uniform. So,
boy, I'm telling you, this is fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, this is NNOA, our weekly podcast. Captain Rick Wright here, host of the show. And of course, our guest today is Major Cory Holiday, United States Marine Corps. Cory is a superstar in the Marines now, based at the Pentagon in a major leadership role. And Cory, now you're getting your baccalaureate degree from Florida A&M University. Jake Gaither's school, the great football coach of yesteryear.
yes.
Then you walk across the stage, man, to hand the diploma to you. What's going to happen next, man?
So before I graduated, I actually left school for 6 months, and because I was a reservist, it was the time of the Iraq War starting. So I actually left school at the beginning of the war, deployed for 6 months, and then after that deployment, so I was part of OIF-1, came back, finished my last semester of school, and then got my commission. On the back end, 2003, got my commission, and then I went to the basic school and started learning how to be an officer.
Did you come to that PLC program? You didn't come to that?
I did.
That's the okay.
After I transitioned out of the ROTC program, I picked up the PLC program. Captain Stacy Taylor, now Colonel Taylor, was my OSO.
And that was at Quantico. Is that the training for the PLC program during your era?
Yes.
Look, I'm an old guy, I'm trying to, by the way, I love Quantico. What a beautiful base that is for the United States Marine Corps. By the way, it's when I go to Washington, D.C., I go out and live in those nice quarters I got out there for old Navy captains like me, man. Not bad. Already, you got your commission. You're near a beautiful, good-looking second lieutenant, United States Marine Corps. And what was basic officer course for you? What was that held? At what base?
It was in Quantico.
Everything stayed at Quantico.
Yep.
Man, that's like in a city too.
Yep.
Okay.
OCS is on one side of the 95, and then TBS is on the opposite side of the 95.
Roger that. All right. Now, you leave Quantico. The detailer, I know you had a good time with that Marine detailer, whoever that person might have been. And hey, what happens? The Marine Corps say, okay, we got to square it away. Young, incredible second lieutenant, United States Marine Corps. Let's get his career going. And where did we send you?
So I was able to pick up military police as my designator,
which
MOS.
Yes, working perfect.
And it tied in with my major. It was out of 265 Marines in the company, there were 2 MP spots, and I picked up one. So after that, I went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, where MP school is. It's at the time, it was an integrated course to where it was Army-led and the Marines embedded into the Army class. So I was in a class of 60 Army lieutenants and myself, 1 Marine, for about 3 months. And then after that, I transitioned to my first duty assignment as an officer at 1st FSSG Camp Pendleton with MP Company.
So you get to North Carolina. No, that's California.
California.
Camp Pendleton. You're on the West Coast. By the way, every time I hear Pendleton, I'm getting. So look, y'all bear with the old Captain Rick right here, man. Major Cory Holiday, man, beautiful young Marine Corps second lieutenant. He's out in California in Pendleton. His law enforcement criminal justice major from Florida A&M University is being used correctly by the United States Marine Corps. But this is fascinating. And things are rolling. And what is our time frame, Major Taylor, for a lot of our viewers this afternoon or morning or afternoon or night while they're watching or viewing or listening to our podcast? Historical time period, year.
So this was 2000. I checked in 2005, February 2005, and I was there for about a month. And the CO of the company, of MP Company, was pulled and sent on the IA billet somewhere else. And it left me and a company of 100 Marines to prep for deployment in 6 months.
What kind of what kind of internal leadership qualities that would you like to share with us that you think really got you ready, got you going with regards to leading? I mean, you're a brand new young second lieutenant in charge of a lot of folk. And of course, you're getting ready to go out to the other part of the world, right? Is that getting ready to happen over to the, what do we call the Middle East?
Yep.
Is that going to
So
happen?
I'm prepping for, at this time, 2005, I'm prepping for my second deployment back to the Middle East. The first one, I was a platoon sergeant, and now I'm going back as a company commander. And I would say that based off of my experience in Marine Corps JROTC and just being on the enlisted side of the house, I learned to rely heavily on my senior enlisted, and like those guys were my advisors, and I trusted them. They trusted me, and we made a great team. So I relied on those who had been there and done that, who were way more seasoned than I was. But then also they let me lead.
And
they steered me in the right direction, and they let me lead. And I think that was the makeup, just from the experience that I had, and then trusting them and them trusting me. It made for a good workup for deployment, and then it made for a great deployment from 2005 to 2006.
Hey, look, when you deployed over to the Middle East, did you fly over or take a ship over, or how did you get over?
So first time I got there via ship. This time I flew via contract Delta flight, there and back, Delta flight. So the first time I flew first class.
Boy, what an experience. Accomplice of the United States Marine Corps, first class on a Delta flight to the Middle East. Oh,
That's right.
I'm loving this Major Holiday here. Celebrate Happy New Year. Wow.
I say the flight stewardess going out saw my name, and they sang the holiday song.
Yeah.
The whole flight over, and just so happened we were on the exact same flight on the way back with the same stewardess who sang the song all the way back to the States too.
I mean, you're a star. Hey, Major Cory Holiday, you're the real deal in the Marine Corps, man. You're a superstar. Hey, General Frank Peterson in heaven just sent a message down to me, man. Said, man, you're the real deal. Keep charging, brother. And also General Gary Jerome Cooper, great African-American Marine Corps general who was the first brother lead Brothers into Combat. That is a unit into combat in Vietnam. And then, of course, I got an old, I don't know if you know, General George Walls. George was in school at North Carolina Central University back in the 1960s when he was a young Marine Corps captain with the NROTC unit there, and became General George Walls, United States Marine Corps. Think about all my Marine Corps general buddies and friends, and also General Cliff Stanley. Also, great NNOAers, and there was a beautiful Marine Corps. She was gorgeous and smart and brilliant that I met back in the 1980s with NNOA, and that's Colonel Doris Daniels, United States Marine Corps. Oh, you got some family here. Well, look, Cory. Okay, so after we leave the Middle East, we come back home to the States, man, and.
So I come back to the States. It's 2006. I spent and at the time, MOS is a short high density, a high demand, low density MOS. So we're on a 6-month cycle of deploying every other 6 months. And I started prepping the company for another deployment, and I got pulled from the company and moved up to the regiment and served as the regimental opso, as a first lieutenant for a while. So FSSG, regimental opso, first lieutenant. So I learned a lot by being the junior guy on the staff with a colonel command and Lieutenant Colonel XO. It was a great experience where I learned a lot.
Major Holiday, you've learned a lot, incredible Marine Corps officer. You're at the Pentagon in Washington. What's your advice to a young junior officer, Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard? Of course, a lot who are members of the National Naval Officers Association who are coming in. What kind of advice would you give those young, wonderful young people, JOs coming into the service in this day and time?
Make sure that you maintain relationships with the folks that you went to school with, because y'all are all on the same playing field once you join the fleet, and you lean on each other and learn from each other to help develop each other and progress throughout the ranks. There's some questions that you just don't want to ask your supervisor that you can easily ask a buddy of yours that you went to school with, who might have just learned what you're trying to learn the week prior or yesterday. So use each other to lift each other up. Also, seek mentorship. Although people say that not only should mentors seek a mentee, mentees should seek mentors, those who they want to mimic and be like. They should reach out to them and not just wait on the mentor to reach out to them. We're all adults, so take your job into your own hands and don't rely on somebody else to steer your fate.
Okay, all you young JOs out there, the United States Navy, United States Marine Corps, United States Coast Guard, and one of our big efforts and missions with the National Naval Officers Association is really to provide that mentoring for our young JOs. Captain Mary McAdams down in Atlanta, Georgia, Ph.D. from the University of Georgia, her dissertation on mentoring, especially sea service officers. So she's a real genius in that particular area. Major Cory Holiday. Happy New Year, guy. This is really kicking, man. Now, Major, everything is rolling. Your career path is going. You're running all over the Marine Corps, Sapper Fire this afternoon. And how many times did you go to 20 Palms? How many times were you out there?
So prior to being stationed there, I had gone there 2 times for different workups prior to deployments. So all I knew of 29 Palms was the training area.
Yeah.
The big open desert, looked just like Iraq, perfect for training.
And of course, 20 Palms is the Marine Corps' largest base, isn't it? I think they are basically categorized as the largest Marine Corps base in the whole world.
Land mass wise, it is the largest base. Yes.
Now, you go out to 20 Palms and you come back to 20 Palms, and then you end up going to 20 Palms, the United States Marine Corps' super base for training, and you become the provost marshal, is that right? Or the chief of police at 20 Palms?
29 Palms. So yeah, prior to that, so I after leaving California, I actually got pulled and went to the basic school.
Yeah.
I went back to the basic school as an instructor. And it brought me back to Quantico. I was an instructor at the basic school for 3 years. And then after that, I went out to Okinawa, Japan, and did 4-year tour out in Okinawa, Japan. I got back on ship, did 2 years of the MU, and then left the MU, went to the Law Enforcement Battalion, did 2 years there, all out of Okinawa. So I got to see all of Asia. And then after that, I was fortunate enough to be jump on the one military police spot that they had in Europe. So, and I did 3 years out in Europe. And after Europe, I think the monitor was like, you have done way more than the average Marine should be able to do in their time. So you owe the Marine Corps, and he said, you're going to 29 Palms. So
you have been all over the world already. To all of our viewers this afternoon, this evening, or morning, whenever you're checking out, this is NNOA, our weekly podcast of news, views, and perspectives. And also, especially a lot of our young folk who are thinking about a career. Hey, just think about the career of Major Cory Holiday. And Cory, you about what? You all this traveling around the world, that was your 20s, right? Into your 30s, right? I mean,
yeah, 20s and 30s.
So we talk about a college grad coming out of college for that baccalaureate degree or that master's degree, working in some office somewhere and don't ever move. Look what the Marine Corps and the Sea Services can do for your life. You will see a lot of world real quick, up close and personal. Now,
definitely.
Major Cory Holiday, the service schools and all. Hey, by the way, I was checking you out. My background, of course, is mass communications and media and communications. And I've taught in 5 universities, but most of my life is at the great Syracuse University, home of the Orange, and the SI Newhouse School of Public Communications, training media people. And of course, I trained a lot of military officers too, who came for their master's degrees and they went back out in the fleet. What are your thoughts about your public affairs area of you, your media relations ability? Of course, with all this social media stuff we got now. What's your feeling these days? How should we use it, man?
When I found out that I was going to 29 Palms to take over the provost marshal spot, police chief, for those who don't know what provost marshal is, one of the things the base initiative was a big social media push. And the base general was heavy on the key leaders on the installation to utilize social media. So I educated myself through FEMA courses, FBI courses, and then talking with public affairs folks. And I basically trained myself on how to do media relations, social media, and public information type stuff. So basically, as a police chief within the Marine Corps, that police chief serves as the law enforcement information officer to the commanding general of the installation. So although he has a public affairs officer, they don't speak law enforcement, you do. So it made me so much money by educating myself on how to use that. And basically it made my department, my police department, better, because we took all the things that were going on in society at the time of police shootings and unjust kills and all that other stuff. We took that environment and we created a transparent police department to where everyone knew what we were doing. We were involved in the community. We outreached to the community via social media. They had an open line of communication directly to myself and my deputy and my provost sergeant. It was direct link to us. So if they had any issues, they could call us via social media, send us a message via social media. And it came down to, if they saw something, I know we always talk about eagle eye, you see something, say something. Because of the relationship, the transparency that we created by utilizing social media and outreach to the community, they reciprocated that and reached out to us on a regular basis. If they saw something, they instantly reported it to us. And it gave me the opportunity to direct police officers and put them in the right places around the installation based off the 20,000 eyes that I had looking at social media and then reporting back to me, so I could best support the installation from a law enforcement perspective.
Major Cory Holiday, we got to get together and talk further on this area too, because a major area, you know, with regards to the law enforcement area, and of course we've seen this right now, just even recently, God forbid, we just had a incredible bombing in Nashville, Tennessee. And when all these particular scenarios happen, the person who's up in front of the camera in these press conferences is usually the chief of police. And the key thing is to really assure that all of our people who are chiefs to be trained to handle the media. And that's one of the areas, especially I've been working here at Syracuse for years at the Newhouse School. But we're gonna get together and talk about this. I think we can, the training side. And I think some stuff that we need to put on the table to get our people ready to handle crisis communications, because things can happen. You never know what the next moment's going to bring, especially in the military, you know, among the services there. Oh, Major Cory Holiday. Now, Cory, I'm curious, man, just my own, you know, intuition this afternoon on This Is NNOA. Hey, when you're the chief of police now, 29 Palms, California, 30 miles east of San Diego, you're out in the desert, and again, 29 Palms is the largest Marine Corps base in the world. You got a lot of folk living out there, right?
So the base itself was the population fluctuated. So on average, the base had about 20,000 people, but it's also the Marine Corps' largest training installation. So they would bring the entire mess or a large portion of the mess to come to 29 Palms and train. So it would double the base population from 20,000 on a regular basis up to 40,000 people for short periods of time throughout the years. But our standard would range between 15 and 20,000 people.
But the bottom line is that in between those gates and all that territory, and you're the chief of police, as some of those old comedians would say, like Red Fox and everybody, you're the man.
Yeah.
You were the man. What were some of your joyous good times? I want to talk about the bad times. Let's talk about the good times of being the chief of police, post marshal, that is at 29 Palms, United States Marine Corps base out there in California. What's some of the good things that
it was definitely the interaction with the community. I had small kids at the time. Because of that, I was also a coach for the kids football team, soccer team, basketball team. So I knew a lot of the kids, and I lived in the community, so I got to interact with a lot of kids too. And just based off that interaction, I was able to create a lot of community outreach events for the police department. We set up dunk booths, so they would come and they get to dunk the police officers. We used to bring the K9s out so the kids could interact with the dogs. We would do demo shows for the dogs. We did a fingerprinting event where it was an opportunity for all the kids who are below the age of 11 or 10, where you rate a military ID card, to where they can get a handwritten ID card with fingerprints and other markings from the police department that their parents could hold on file as an identification card for those younger kids. And then with that, we called it fingerprints and mug shots, where we had the stripe board with different sayings for kids, where they held it up on the police criminal board. And we had hundreds of kids and their parents bringing their kids over to get those photos so they could print them off and put them up on their walls. Yeah.
And also you're recruiting a lot of future Marines too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Laying the foundation and the seeds for the Marine Corps Recruiting Command people of the next 10 years out, and then they are looking at the Marines just like you to join up and serve the United States of America as a Marine. Man, this is absolutely fantastic. Now you leave 29 Palms, California, and then the United States Marine Corps say, okay, we've taken, at that time, MAJ Cory Holiday all over the world. Now it's time to go to that place close to Quantico, Virginia. It's called the nation's capital. It is called now the Pentagon headquarters for everything in DOD. And you're at the Pentagon there in Washington. Could you tell us a little about what is your responsibilities and your command doing right there?
I work in what's called SPD, Special Projects Directorate, for the Director of Marine Corps Staff. And our duties consist of conducting events for the Commandant, the Director of Marine Corps Staff, and Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. So we support 8th and I events, the different parades, the General Officer Symposiums, the Executive Officer Symposium, NATO, we help support the NATO rotation that comes around every year. Worldwide Conference for Marine Corps Commandants, the Graybeard Conference for those retired 3- and 4-star Marine Corps generals, and then whatever the Commandant decides, that if he wants to host some type of an event, we're his guys to help provide that action officer role as well as some protocol type support.
Well, audience, MAJ Cory Holiday, United States Marine Corps, is at the top of the food chain, the leadership of the United States Marine Corps. Of course, I enjoy working with all the service chiefs myself with the Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard, especially with the National Naval Officers Association under the direction of Admiral Admiral Sink, that is, Sinclair. I'm going to give him another name here, Admiral Sinclair Harris, our great president of the National Naval Officers Association. Now, Cory, how much longer are you going to be in Washington? You going to be around in that protocol? Good night.
I've got 2 years, and then I plan on retiring within the Marine Corps.
Oh, and how many years will that be, Major?
That'll put me at 23 years and a half. So almost 24, just short of 24.
Just short of 24 years.
Yep.
Hey, hold on. I got a message from heaven here. Captain Tom McFadder, United States Navy retired, who is now gone to heaven. The late Captain Tom McFadder was in the Chaplain Corps of the United States Navy. He was one of the last Montfort Pointers on active duty. And of course, he always told me about when they landed at Iwo Jima, Guadalcanal, in the World War II adventure out into the Pacific when we were fighting the Japanese. And, you know, something he told me to bring up this afternoon, and that is the absence of our people, African Americans, in the Marine Corps. And he said, if you look at a lot of the old World War II movies, you never see any of our folk. But I wanted to indicate that this afternoon. Of course, MAJ Cory Holiday and his great, incredible ancestry and lineage coming from the Montfort Pointers, the first African-American Marines. And of course, Captain McFadden said, Rick, whenever you get a chance to do this, make sure you bring up the fact that African-American Marines, man, hit the beaches also at Saipan and Iwo Jima and Guadalcanal and others. And remembering this afternoon, Captain Tom McFadden, United States Navy. And of course, he also was the, I think, the central vice president of the NNOA back in the 1980s. But I just never forget that story of Major. He was talking about hitting the beaches, man, of Iwo, and all the brother Marines, man, which was an incredible story. Also, let's remember another great Marine, Second Lieutenant Frederick Branch, the first African-American Marine officer. Freddie was an incredible Marine also, who's also gone to heaven. Well, MAJ Cory Holiday, United States Marine Corps. Incredible, man. This is a pleasure having you on board today. This is NNOA, our weekly podcast of news, views, and perspectives of the sea services. And Major, Captain McFadden and all the guys up in heaven said, well, we got to hold on to you a little bit longer, man. Can we, you know, kind of keep the adventure going here? You know, you got the kind of track record, man. I'll just be quiet here. You know, I know you're at the Pentagon and all, but great Alpha Phi Alpha brother too. We got to keep you around a little bit longer here, man. We'll talk about that another time now. Well, Captain McFadden, there's your word to MAJ Cory Holiday on this 2nd of January in the year 2021. And it's been a dynamite new year. This is our 2nd day. And of course, nothing like having a holiday on the holiday. This is NNOA. Hey, Cory, you got any last parting shooting words you want to lay out to the fleet this afternoon? Hey, by the way, what kind of ships did you ride in the Gator Navy?
LPDs.
LPDs. Okay. You never had a chance to ride on those old LSTs, did you? I think we probably decom
No.
Saginaw and the Boulder and all, huh?
Yep. I think I saw some abandoned in the Philippines.
Yes. In fact, what I also did in my Navy career, which I enjoyed a lot, I used to basically be headed up the Navy public affairs operation for the annual Great Lakes cruise. And of course, we brought up some summers guided missile frigates, FFGs, but there were also summers that we brought up LSTs out of Little Creek. And we would start Little Creek and go down to Morehead City, pick up Marine unit there, and then put them on board ship. We got up down the Atlantic, man, and run into the, stop over at probably Bermuda or Halifax, Nova Scotia, into the Gulf of St. Lawrence, the St. Lawrence Sea, where it's been 3 months cruising all 5 of the American and Canadian Great Lakes. And let me tell you one thing, what was a joy. And also as public affairs officer with the Marines on board those LSTs. And we pull into cities like, you know, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Erie, Pennsylvania, Cleveland, Ohio, Detroit, Windsor, Ontario, Milwaukee, Detroit, Chicago, all the way out to Duluth, Minnesota. And man, the Marines were always squared away. And those guys did not have to pay for nothing on those whole 3 months. So that was a real joy that I had as many years ago, running as the embarked public affairs officer on the Navy Great Lakes cruisers, pretty much during the 1980s and into the 1990s.
Yeah.
MAJ Cory Holiday, United States Marine Corps. This has been a pleasure to have you on basically our first broadcast of a brand new year, 2021. And of course, Semper Fi to you, Marine.
Hurrah. Pleasure's all mine.
A pleasure to have you on board. And we got many more Marines coming also. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Rick Wright. This is NNOA, our weekly podcast, news, views, and perspectives of the National Naval Officers Association. And this episode and all of our episodes are produced and directed by Roosevelt Reuben Wright III, one of our IT geniuses of NNOA and also a graduate of the Newhouse School of Public Communications at Syracuse University. So, MAJ Cory Holiday, take care down the Pentagon, man. As soon as this COVID-19 situation gets a little more under control, I can travel, I'll be down to see you, man.
Look forward to it.
A little plan I think we need to put together with regards to the training of law enforcement people in the sea services who are in charge of our major bases, man. They're getting a lot of
I'm all for it.
I think you got some answers that they don't even know about, to some major problems that we come up with. Okay, everybody, tally ho, away we go. MAJ Cory, I will stay in contact with you, MAJ Cory Holiday. See ya. Bravo Zulu to you now. We're out.
Thank you.